Alright, here we go. So I think what we need to do though, I think I need to try and get cutscene remover working for next attempts, otherwise we're going to be watching that scene for a long, long time. Let's see now. I think what I need to do... Okay, so there was wall-to-wall actually, immediately being useful. I need basically all of these to hit Walker probably. Okay. So... CTB doesn't look like... It is kind of bad. I was going to say it doesn't look horrendous, but it's pretty bad. So what I'm going to do is get good old ultimate companion guide. So I can see exactly what's going on here. It's been a little while. Last time I faced Extractor was in the Masters mod, where obviously the vanilla stuff just wasn't that important. So I need to find it and see what it can do. Okay, so I'm going to have a little look here. Yeah, basically we can't afflict anything on it because normally slow would be a strat here. But of course we can't do that because it has Auto-Haste. So... see. So it does Aqua Shoot twice, then it rises, readies depth charges. Okay. Yeah, after Rise is used, 501 damage needs to be done to bring it back down. Sheesh. Okay. Do you have a physical copy? No, as I've only got, because this is obviously like a digitally written guide by P. Birdman, I just have the PDF that I use. Okay, so I don't know if there's some kind of method we can use to try and somehow tank the depth charges, or are we always trying to bring it back down before it happens? Not entirely sure. What we need to do is some turn management stuff, I think. Basically, as soon as it rises, we need to try and get our turns while it's up in the air. SOS Shell. Where are we getting SOS Shell from at this stage? We're going to have to probably do some research into seeing what enemies drop what stuff. Potentially. So readying depth charges. And here normally I would just do Overdrives, because obviously with physical attacks we can't bring it back down. And the problem is because of the Auto-Haste, we're going to get 2 depth charges in a row. So we're going to be completely destroyed. So let's get a bit of a benchmark for damage here first. Let's see what kind of damage we're doing. Mm. 500 is the number we need. It's about 400 and... no. Yeah, it's like... 420 or so. Okay, so that's the first one. Hey, super cool, welcome to stream. So the problem is obviously we're just going to run out of Overdrive. Yeah, it's already going back up. It did it once? What? Ish. Yeah, so the first 2 moves are Aqua Shooter, and then once you bring it back down... So there might be a bit of an RNG here. So Aqua Shooter is 50% chance, or go to next is 50% chance. So it seems like 50% of the time it goes back up after one move instead of two. Oh, that's nasty. Hey Hoffenheim, welcome to stream. Yeah, and so again, there's just no way to do 500 damage quickly enough here. Oh yeah, so now we're going to see those explosive barrels in action. Yeah, trouble is he's got Water Ward, but he doesn't. We'd have to kind of play the switching game. Yeah, I think Element Reels is a little pointless here. Let's just see how much damage we take from the depth charges. I don't know if it's going to be a bit of a game of just constantly healing ourselves up until we just get overdrives, and we basically only attack with overdrives. And other than that, we just toss high potions constantly. That damage is so heavy. And yeah, it's too quick. So you can't get 2 turns in at once. Yeah, so just staying alive for now, just to see how long we can stay in the fight. It's just it's too quick for us in terms of, even if we were just spamming high potions here, I don't think we can keep up with the damage that we're receiving. Overdrives don't miss even if you're in darkness, so that's a reprieve. But basically, as soon as you use the overdrive, then your ability to heal is also diminished. But let's just mess around with this and try. This is all of my Masters mod training coming into effect here. 459. Okay. See, this is all well and good, but then it's going to get 3 turns afterwards. Yep, overdrive delays, it's a big problem, but if you're trying to do 500 damage to bring it back down, just trying to do it with normal attacks, I think it's a bit unlikely. It does feel to me like if we keep letting it get depth charges, like we just can't keep up. So it does 1 of them, and then it comes back up. As I say, I think there's a 50% chance it does 2 aqua shooters. But this is the stage of the fight where it's basically over, I think. Yeah. So you saw it just gets too many turns in a row. Ouch. Yeah. So that's tough. That is tough. We need to think about what we can do here. Okay. Does the Drake drop them in Jose? Okay, so now we need to look at where do we get Lightning Strike from if we wanted that on our weapon. We're going to need to start investigating. So this is the bit where the playthrough kind of slows down a little bit, and we're going to have to go into research, like preparation experimentation mode. This is the kind of stuff that a lot of the time you guys tend to not see when I'm doing challenge stuff. But since it's a live stream, you guys are going to have to you guys are going to have to be a part of this as well. So yeah, Lightning Strike is definitely doable. You could get it from Killiker. I think that's a good point. Let's just double check. Basically, this is the thing where I'm just going to start to hack in like equipment that I could have farmed for previously, just to get us through. Because theoretically you can backtrack from here, pretty much. From here you can backtrack all the way, right? Pretty much to Besaid if you wanted. You can still take the boats and stuff. So you can literally just go back to Besaid if you wanted to. If you were really like doing this absolutely like pure and you wanted to go and look for equipment. Yeah, pretty sure you can go all the way back now. Yeah, you can. So that's good. That means like the chances of us being completely sort of locked here is much lower. But obviously instead of doing that sort of backtracking work on stream, we're going to bypass that shit. So also, I think you probably could have got it from the Machina in Luca, potentially as well. So let me find the yellow elemental first. Yeah, it drops the Thunder Strike. And it can drop up to 2 slots, 1 or 2 slots. Okay. So that's one thing we can definitely do. I'm gonna literally note this down. So the infamous notepad that you guys know and love, especially from Masters Mod, is gonna make an appearance. So we've got the Lightning Strike from Kilika that we can pick up the Tidus. 1 to 2 slots. Yeah, Overdrive modes is another thing I'm going to start to look into. It's kind of one thing at a time. So for now, I want to have a look at equipment. And then I probably want to jump back in and see what happens when I have the different equipment. The question is, are we just going to consistently just keep taking these depth charges? And therefore, do we just stick with Dark Ward? Because we basically have Dark Ward already for both of them. Yeah, we're staying no sphere grid for now, but this fight is going to be one that really pushes us in terms of exploring the realms of possibility and having to really start using basically cheats to start hacking in things that normally we'd have to do a lot of farming for. So we need a lightning strike for Waka and the Tidus, so he definitely doesn't have one either. Okay. So we need to basically create one each of those, and armor-wise, I think I want to, next attempt, I want to try just having Dark Ward for both, and seeing how we go from that. I do think going normal attack is probably the best way, because again, the delay is really harsh. So I think that's where we'll start for this one. We still have the overdrives if and when we need them, but for now I'm going to start to get a far plane editor going, and we're going to give ourselves a couple of pieces of equipment. Yeah, going to start with Dark Ward, and then we'll see how we go. I have a feeling this isn't going to be enough, just having 2 lightning strikes. I think maybe some kind of RNG factor, like you could probably get through, but I don't think it's that simple. I think we're going to need more than just lightning strike. Dark Ward plus HP, isn't that something that Garuda can drop? Need to have a look at that one. I'll try to kind of stay away from anything that's like super duper rare and really, really tough to get. Like, just getting a single slot lightning strike by this point, I think is pretty, in relative terms, is pretty easy. But trying to get a Dark Ward plus HP 10% from a Garuda, I think that's quite a farm. But if needed, that's what we'll do. So we'll kind of work our way up. We'll do like the easy option first, and then we'll see where we go. Alright, let me see if I can create this new item. Sometimes this messes up the game, but we'll try. Okay. Let's just make it a single slot. And then add lightning strike. Let's see if we got that. I think I'm just going to leave the names as they are. I think when you start messing with the names, that's when sometimes it can break. So I think they'll all be called longsword, but it doesn't matter. So this is the weapon that I'm after. And we're going to make one for Waka too. So that one seemed to work. Where else can you get Lightning Strike from? There's got to be some other enemies that could potentially drop it that's closer, that's not as big of a backtrack. Let me have a quick look. Curious. Yeah, so for example, the Bunny Ip can also drop it, apparently. It can drop Piercing, well, always for Auron and Kimari, Distill Power, Fire Strike, Ice Strike, Thunder Strike, Water Strike. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely very obtainable. It's not exactly like a super rare drop. So you don't need to go all the way back to Kilika for it. You can get it in Jose as well. So, very much doable. Well, even on Moonflow, the Bunny Ips appear there too. So, not too bad. Impossible for Shinra. It's impossible in normal no sphere grid anyway. Yeah, I think, as I say, the names might have to be wrong just for the sake of just making sure it doesn't break the game for now. I can adjust them later. Waka. Ah, shit. Not sure how that works. Basically, you can change the name and you can change the appearance. When I select which character it's for, the name changes, but then appearance, it says Longsword Red. And when I try to change it so it's a ball again, it crashes. For Farplane, at least, they look like they could be independent of each other. Let me just try something else. I think the older version of Farplane actually worked better for me. Ah, okay, that looks better. Let me see. I think I got it. Alright, let's have a look. Yeah, I have to create a new weapon for these. I don't want to edit anything they already have existing. There you go. Okay, so I think I have them. I want to get into a normal random encounter fight just to test this. Just see the look and stuff and make sure they work. So almost ready for attempt 2. Be cool if you could have made the ultimate weapons look like their starters. You could. Yeah, so right now I've got a red sword with the lightning. It kind of looks cool, to be honest. But I think, like, mechanically, they should do their job. Let me just check the damage here. Yeah, okay, that's doing 1.5. That's fine. I think we're going to get a game over here. Nah, we're not backtracking, we're just making sure that the weapons I created actually work. Okay, we should be fine. I'm going to create a new save, then fire up cutscene remover, so we don't have to keep watching the scene over and over again, and then we'll get back into it again. Okay. Save. At least you guys get to hear plenty of rides issue puff. Okay, let's see if cutscene remover is going to work. Don't know if we're going to end up doing too many things at once and just break the game, but we'll see. Hopefully it works. Okay, so this time we are going to try this combination.
Rides the shoe puff?
Okay, cutscene remove, I think, did his job. Nice. Good. Okay. All aboards, then, for attempt number 2.
Luna, we'll save you!
I think the music, yeah, the music gets stuck on the Moonflow music. I think that's a minor price to pay, because that's one of the longer cutscenes in the game. Okay. I think we can't really stop it from opening up with this. I think both hits. Yeah. I don't know if there's some kind of initial counter value RNG situation where we might end up getting a chance. I think it's just too much quicker than us. Let me see. Maybe, but we'll see in subsequent attempts. Okay. Yeah, it is a bit silly with this music, but it is what it is. Now, let's have a look at... I think, again, we kind of have the same problem with this first set of attacks, because if we don't split the turns, it's just going to get up and then just immediately use the move. I think we have to. I think that the fight starts like this, kind of regardless. But yeah, the music is just funny. Yeah, this is one of those, like, the difference music makes, right? Okay. Let's just see the normal damages. It's definitely just 2 hits alone is not enough to bring this guy down. I'm almost certain of that. Yeah, it's nowhere near enough. Nowhere near. 190. Yeah, so this is where the problems begin. Oh, went too quick. I think as long as you get 2 or 3, it's okay. Imagine this music when fighting with... Okay, not too bad. If that was 500 by itself, I think that would have been nice, but... Let's see what it does here. Comes back down. It's going to do the aqua shooter, but then does it immediately come back up or not? 206. Okay, it did do it a second time this time. See, this is the problem also. Like, even if you do bring it down, you kind of have to deal with this shit. Let me, just to keep myself in the game, it's going to head back up now. Returns afterwards. Ridiculous. I'm thinking we should be able to bring it down with Slice and Dice. Or no. This is another one of those things that more recently I've been learning about what affects overdrive damage and what doesn't. And I think Elemental Affinity, if you have like Lightning Strike, it should. Right? Because it's not one of those, like, the full list of what affects overdrive damage and what doesn't is not intuitive. There's certain things that don't affect it, for example. So I think the Elemental Affinity does affect it. So what I'm going to try and do... Yeah, we're going to find out one way or another, because I think that's still the play. I don't want it to get 3 turns in a row, so I'm going to try and do this, maybe. And I'm still going to try the Slice and Dice here and see what it does. Yeah, as expected, I don't think adding Lightning Strike is making a huge difference. That was a crit. I got excited for a moment, but I think the one crit actually... Does it put us over? I don't think it does. It's not enough, yeah. You need 2, I think. It feels to me like no matter what you do, you're probably going to need to farm some type of RNG for this fight. I don't think you can do it any other way. This is bad. Yeah, that's why I was doubtful from the start. I think it's one of those where intuitively you think it should, but it doesn't. 175, 190. Yeah, we basically need 3 hits every time to bring it back down. Yeah, I just don't know if it's that kind of fight that we basically rely on crits. Like, basically it gets 2 or 3 turns against Walker. That's how quick it is. Yeah, that's nuts. Would it be possible if you gave Titus cheer as the only bit? I think, yeah, it would definitely be a lot more possible. You'd probably, like, burn through more healing stuff just to keep your health up. But I think so. Yeah, so you get these, like, 2 turns in a row situations where this happens. So this is looking really rough. But the overdrive gauge does go up a fair bit. I'm starting to think more in terms of trying to survive the damage and just like burn through a lot of items and then just only use overdrives to attack somehow. Autosave triggers at the start of the fight. Nice. Good. So let's spend some more time here. Let's not immediately just
Luna, we'll save you.
give up. That's not the Dan's great way. Is there an overdrive mode which is based on being afflicted? Yes, there is. So we're going to start to look into some of that stuff as well. Question is, can we get an SOS overdrive at this point? I don't think we can. That starts in like Macalania. So I don't think there's anything we can do to speed up our overdrive gauge in terms of our equipment. Pretty sure SOS overdrive is too soon for that. Yeah, it's too early. But maybe there is a mode that we can really exploit. Maybe Spiral Cut's better, honestly. Slice and Dice has even more delay. Maybe we'll just do that. Would SOS Null Tide stop the Aqua Shot damage, or is that physical? It's magical damage, so I think maybe it would. But then obviously you're constantly at the mercy of depth charges. So you'd have to find some kind of sync where depth charges would bring you into SOS. And then you'd survive the Aqua Shooter, and then you'd have to heal back up again to face it. But it could possibly be something. But for now I want to get more of a feel for some of the damage numbers here, just so I can see what I'm working with. 362 for Spiral Cut. Okay. And I think Walker's Overdrive was more powerful. It did like 470 something. I think the element reels basically, interestingly, for his weapon, when you use the Overdrive, it's not the Lightning Strike itself that does the damage. It's the fact that obviously you select the lightning element on the elemental reels. So it's not the weapon doing the 1.5 there. It's just obviously that's one of the things that does affect Overdrive damage. Yeah, Spiral Cut plus Walker Attack is one way in which you can definitely get over 500. Just a shame it's not damage you've done now. I think it's damage after it rises up. Yeah, the delays are just so strong. Yikes. But yeah, I'm thinking Spiral Cut is the better call here. Basically, I want to see also if you can just launch your 2 overdrives from the start and just sort of stay alive long enough to start charging the second set already. Casually in a tuna sandwich while watching this. So if we basically go more for some kind of just overdrive only attack style, then we can switch back to water ward potentially. I think let's double check depth charge is the type of magic it is. Sorry, the type of damage it is. Yeah, it's special type. Let's go back here for a sec. Just thinking, could Waka... Basically, it does so much damage, the depth charges, that I think even if he had a HP plus 10%, I think he wouldn't be able to tank 2 of them. I don't think there's an armor he could have that would allow him to do that. Tuna will save you. Water ward plus dark ward on 1 armor is key. How is that even possible? Can you get dark ward and water ward on 1 armor? At this stage, is there a drop like that? Surely not. Like, that might be the key, but is it actually possible? If it's not, then it kind of doesn't matter, right? Okay, fine. When you suggested that, I thought it's because, like, you could actually pick it up in the game so far. Hey, Zachary, good to see you. You need to switch, yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying. If we mostly rely on overdrive damage, then the darkness aspect of it isn't really that important. We need to obviously focus more on just surviving until we get another chance. So, just wondering if the damage from depth charge is just a little too much. I'm gonna give Tidus a water ward as well, or maybe we go SOS Null Tide as well. Maybe we could have both. So, back to Farplane Editor, going to give myself a few more little options here. Try and create something new. I'm going to, for now at least, we're going to ignore darkness. We're just going to see if we can survive in the fight. Let's see. Armor. Tidus. Gonna call in elemental shield if I can. Yeah, in general I'm not looking for... I think SOS Null Tide is less likely to be useful because it just gets too many turns. But being able to completely eliminate the damage from Aqua Shooter also could be pretty powerful, so I think it's worth looking into both. So Water Ward first. I'm just going to give Tidus an elemental shield that has Water Ward on it. Let's see if I did it. Okay. So try that. Is Water Ward drop from the Flans in Besaid? Yeah, they drop it. I think you can get them from the Machina in Luca as well. I think Water Ward again is not super difficult to get. Let's see. Yeah, I think that one's harder to get. I think you'd have to farm that one a bit more in advance. You'd have to do it in Luca at the time. But if you've missed your chance, then I think you might have to go back to Besaid potentially. I'd have to look through like literally every armor, but you can 100% get it, but just trying to see. Okay. So I think wards for now. We can take a look at that. Okay, let's save here and go for another one. Worst case, if by the end of the session we've kind of got nowhere, I'll kind of rack my brains in between this session and the next. And I'll come in with maybe a bit more of an idea of what I could do, or maybe I would have figured it out already. We'll see.
Ride the shoe puff?
Alright, let's go.
Luna, we'll save you!
There is an easy solution. Yeah, we don't go for the easy solutions around here. As I say, if it's just for this one fight, I really want to try some of this run like No Figured with Riku in the party as well. I kind of don't want to definitely drop No Figured until I have Riku, and if even with Riku we're still not getting anywhere, then that's when I'd really sort of call it. But for now, just for this one fight, I'd prefer to try and look for a way through than to abandon it. Because it's one of those, like, once you flip that switch, you're basically never going back, so I kind of want to stick with it for as long as I can. Yeah, so this time we actually have more favorable initial counter values. Because I think last time... No. Didn't we lose more last time? I think this time, because I can definitely survive depth charges, I'm going to go for... Basically, I want to get the Overdrive charging again as quickly as possible. Yeah, maybe for Waka, it's not worth it so much. Or we kind of do it one at a time or something. Yeah, maybe for him we kind of do this. And we do it on the way up. It's just a shame, like, if Waka was a tiny bit quicker or element reels had slightly less delay, that would have been ideal. That puts it one hit away from stopping the depth charges. Okay. Yeah, Waka can tank one of the aqua shooters, but Tidus can't. And they're just going to keep dumping depth charges on us, but for now at least, just to charge the Overdrive, we can, but we can't survive two of them back to back, that's the problem. Basically, we can't ever let it have 2 turns while it's up here. I think that's the kind of primary thing. Whatever we do, we have to make sure it doesn't get 2 turns back to back. So we have to bring it back down. And then obviously aqua shooter. Yeah, Tidus dies here. There's no chance of it missing. I think it's a magic attack. And then it takes a turn to rise. But then it's going to get one more turn. No? Okay. Yeah, we can only really do the first 1,000 damage. After that, it gets incredibly problematic. I think we need to come up with something pretty different. Phoenix down also won't work because it's only half HP that it recovers with. Depth charges just does too much damage. Yeah, so using those overdrives early just doesn't seem to work. Yeah, it's a conundrum because if you use the overdrives, the delay really kills you. And if you don't use them, then you have to deal with darkness, and you have to deal with not having darkness and water ward at the same time. Sheesh. Yeah, getting absolutely destroyed here. This one is looking very tough. Because now I'm thinking, like, even if you have the overdrives, does it really matter? With the turns being the way they are, I'm not sure it matters if you have an overdrive. Gonna go straight back in. I need to find out what type of turn thing we can do to try and avoid 2 depth charges back to back.
We'll save you.
There must be a way. No, there is no status effect that we can afflict on this guy. Nothing. Slow would be the normal one, but you cannot afflict slow in this challenge because they're auto-hasted. So, yeah. I'm pretty confident in saying this is the first, like, true wall that we've hit. Even with a little bit of inventory manipulation, we're still absolutely nowhere, so... This is one where if you were doing it, like, pure, in terms of no file plane editor, no nothing, you'd probably have to do a lot of work. And the problem is, obviously, to even try things out, you would say, like, I don't know, we need water ward for this fight, and you spend 3 hours, 5 hours getting water ward, and then you realize, oh, actually, it doesn't really help, and then you'd have to try something new. So it's really brutal if you don't use those kind of tools to help you get through. And it's just too early in the game that there's just not a lot of useful inventory. Like, there's no SOS regen type stuff, no SOS overdrive stuff. I don't think there's any equipment drops that would really help at this stage. All I know is that we can't let it use depth charges twice in a row, and to do that we have to play the constant game of using items and stuff. Can Farplane interviews change Yuna's name to Tuna? Yeah, we could, I think. If I recall, this one was also tricky on your attack only run too. Yeah, it probably was. I think this one is, like, even for most normal runs, as long as you have the inventory, it's fine. Like, if you don't have any lightning stuff, then it's going to be difficult for you in most challenge runs. But maybe I didn't in attack only, I don't remember. But usually once you start to get, like, the lightning strikes or maybe the water ward, then it tends to be easy enough in most challenges. But this one is a different beast. Yeah, if only there was a way, obviously, to bring it down just with the 2 attacks, then it would be far more possible. But as it stands, the 2 attacks don't do anywhere near enough. Like, there's no variation that would work there either. Hey Claire, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate the kind words. Like a blanket and a warm bowl of soup. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, 1 overdrive and 1 attack is generally, I think, the only chance we really have here. So, like, this combination, I think, is the only one that really gets us to bring it down in 2 moves. Where this is the one where it's, like, the minimum delay for the most amount of output. But then from here on, it just gets out of control. Hey NG+, welcome to stream. So we're going to have to find some kind of loop here of... Nah, it just wouldn't work. Like, we just won't have the overdrive back in time. You can't really... The only way you could turn this into some kind of loop would be if you could guarantee yourself an overdrive every time it comes back up. But you just can't do that. And so now, obviously, again, we're just stuck. Can we farm Mega Potions at this stage of the game? We can't, right? There's no way to get more Mega Potions. No, the SOS null tide I'm pretty sure doesn't work for depth charge. I think it's only for Aqua Shooter. If that's what you meant, then yes, you can. But then obviously in these situations, I think it would be a big problem as well. Have another look. Yeah, it's just special damage. Yeah, drop the potions, but not mega potions. I'm just thinking like the only way you can really keep up with the damage from depth charges if you leave it up there until you get another overdrive is by just spamming mega potions or something. But if you can't do that, then I'm not sure it's really doable. Because basically you're going to be stuck in like a healing loop here. But let's just try and stay alive as long as we can. I don't know if you have to find a way to basically keep surviving until Tidus gets the next overdrive and just keep doing the 1-2 with Tidus overdrive plus Waka, and obviously you just burn through these high potions in the meantime. If we can trade like more 1-for-1 when we use item, then maybe. Yeah, you can defend, but then you still need to heal. Like it will save you maybe one turn. But even if it did reduce it, like it just doesn't matter. In this fight, you're always playing like a losing game. So this is kind of just seeing if we can stay alive long enough to... Yeah, you see Waka's too slow, and well, we're too slow. So if we could just basically keep pumping high potions until... Tidus gets the next overdrive, maybe you could find a way, but yeah, defending would slow it, depending on the mode, of course, but yeah, it would. So already we're at the stage where we'd basically die. But yeah, Spiral Cut has the lowest delay. We actually tested it here. It's why I'm using Spiral Cut mostly. Blitzball for potions. Wait, can you get Mega Potions from Blitzball? Can someone check that? I know you can get an array of stuff. Surely not Mega Potion, though. I know you can get X Potions. Can you get Mega Potions? Because that would make a difference. You could theoretically Blitzball farm for Mega Potions here just to always have enough. Like, I've only got 2. Someone can check that. There might be some things we can get in Blitz that could get us through. Apparently, yes. Yeah, I mean, Megalixirs will do the job just fine as well. How do you... But Megalixirs probably you have to play like a whole league just to get one Megalixir. Yeah, I've got Lightning's right. 15% chance for second place league. Flippin' hell, that's horrendous. For one Megalixir? That's really rough. But there's no Mega Potion, it's just Megalixir. That's just for the Mega Potion. Is there no way to get a Mega Potion from a tournament? No Mega Potion. That sucks. Super cool. Ever the Ray of Sunshine. Yes, we are delaying the inevitable. You're right. But that's kind of the point also. We're just seeing how long we can survive with the stuff that we have. But here, unfortunately, not even one crit is enough in this. Only that 15% on second place league. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, because I'm just thinking if I had like a whole bunch of Mega Potions to keep tossing here, you could just keep farming for them and just basically just burn through them here. And then when Tidus has his full overdrive back, then you would find a window, I'm sure, to just go on the attack again. We're just a little too slow. And well, another option obviously is just to try and farm for like really low RNG things. I'm not sure. Yeah, X Potion's not going to help us here. It's more so being able to heal both of them at once because we're so slow. using high potion individually for both, we just can't keep up with depth charge. Yeah, it's rough. So I think this is another attempt over. We can survive long enough for Tidus to get a second overdrive, but then that's about it. And well, still, because we're not using Walker's overdrive, we're missing out on a lot of damage. So at the times when we use Walker's overdrive as well, obviously we do an extra 500 damage. Yeah, we all knew from the start. I think, yes, Carithian's a Final Fantasy X genius and all that, but I think most of us knew that if you're going no sphere grid, Extractor's going to be pretty impossible from the start. It was very clear. Even in a normal no sphere grid, if you don't have the right stuff and the management of the fight, you're going to lose. With Auto-Haste mod no sphere grid, it's pretty clear. It's going to be really horrible. You could grind for Blitz Ace. Yeah, with how much delay that has, I'm not sure. What's the deal with Energy Rain? How much more damage is Energy Rain than anything else? And what's the delay like? Because I mean, the thing with this kind of thing that we tried last time is 1 Mega Elixir wouldn't be enough. You'd need like multiples of them. That would take you hours and hours and hours. Nah, Energy Rain has more delay. Yeah, I'd rather try to find something that isn't... It wouldn't be like, oh, this would take you 20 hours to farm it. Does Spiral Cut do more damage? Energy Rain has a higher damage constant. I was just thinking, like, if it had the same delay as Spiral Cut, then maybe there's a chance it would be the more effective move, but... I don't remember the damage constant for Energy Rain. Like, Blitz Ace has an insanely long delay. Let me see. Thank you, Aldrone, by the way. Okay. Yeah, it's not that great. I'm thinking for Waka, if we change to this and get all of the lightnings, would that be enough to guarantee getting it down just with its overdrive? Basically, because his lightning strike doesn't make a difference for a normal hit. I want to see how much an element reels does with the 5+8. I forgot. I think it might be just under. Let's have a look. Ah, yeah, shit. See, that's the classic rookie mistake. Strength plus % doesn't make a difference. I think it's going to be the same. This will be proof, though. This is good just reinforcing some of these things. Because this is some of the newest stuff that I kind of started to really learn in the playthrough. But let's see. So normally, Waka has 8% more strength here. But I think we're going to see the same number. Basically, I'm trying to find ways to do over 500 damage with an overdrive against this guy. But don't think we can. Alright, here we go again. So he was doing about 470. Yeah, it's not 8% more. If it was 8% more, I think we would have noticed. So the strength plus modifiers just they don't increase your damage output, unfortunately, for overdrives. So that's another quirk of the game. Now we're back to being screwed. Yeah, once you get yourself into this position, there's just no getting back out of it, I think, with the current setup that we have. If we could survive 2 depth charges, that would just have made a big difference, but... So like, for example, in this scenario, you could do another attack, because you'd be able to tank a second one, but you just can't. Yeah, it's an interesting point, actually. You can have a look at that, too. I wonder how much the damage changes depending on how long it takes you to do the reel. The more time there is left, you get like a little bonus. Yeah, for now we're mostly experimenting again with damage options, just to see what we can do. I mean, we've already figured out that at the start of the fight you can switch weapons just to break up the first 2 turns. But I'm just trying to find out what is the most efficient way to bring it back down from depth charges. At the moment, until we figure that out, I don't think we have much of a chance. As I say, that I don't think the 8% is actually factoring in here. So the 8% is not a thing. But we're just trying to see if we can get over 500. Oh, the timing function. Okay, fine. Yes, then it's definitely possible. So let's start to speed this up a little bit. Final few little tests of the session before we call it quits for today. Alright, so this time we're going to try and do it more quickly, but I'm not very good at it, so let's see if we can do it quicker. Alright, let's see if this is about as quick as I can go. Without, well, I could have still missed that easily. Ooh, 502 just about. Good call, guys. Good call on that one. So going quickly did make a difference. Eked out that tiny little bit more damage. Interesting. I've literally never had to do that for a strat, ever. In all of the challenges I've ever done, where I have to do the reels more quickly. Just never been a thing. Honestly, forget the first wheel. Yeah, I'd have to practice that one. I'd probably do that one like off stream, see how I can get quicker. So, now, I think we can get away with... So we have found a little bit of a breakthrough though, at least. Yeah, see, that's obviously like, that's the best way to start the fight so far, based on what we have, but for this part of the fight, obviously, once again, we go back into like pure survival mode, and if you look at the CTB again, it's like, yeah, we need to do 500 damage, but there's just so many attacks coming in the meantime. Let's switch back to this. I think a few crits and stuff would really go a long way in this fight as well. Hey Mike, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. We made good progress until we got to this fight. Well, we got absolutely... Yeah, see, again, we've had that problem. I thought maybe with the item he'd be able to split the turns. But we can't, unfortunately. So this bit's still really killer. Like, we found a way to bring it down, but... If Tidus had a way to do it as well, maybe with Blitzace, we still can. At least they'd each have one Overdrive where we're guaranteed to bring it down. Yeah, that depth charge is so powerful. So maybe Blitzace could be potentially used. Yeah, I was thinking about Mega Potions. We can theoretically farm Mega Elixirs, which is even one better. But it's like an incredibly long-winded farming to do, so I want to try and avoid that. We potentially could, but I'd like to see if we can manage without. Yeah, it's not immune to slow in a normal game, but for this one, most definitely is. Is there a way to teach Tidus Blitzace in Farplane? I'm not sure. I don't think there is. I'd have to use Final Fantasy X editor to edit the save. Nah, I'm not going to do overtime as much this time. I still think we're too far away. Like, the element reels idea is nice, and I'm thinking that could work. We can definitely put that to use, but I think the rest of the fight still needs to be figured out. I think there's too much going on in terms of needing to do damage. I think already in terms of if we really have to, you could theoretically just hack in some Mega Elixirs, having farmed for them, playing Blitzball. So that's kind of one way, and then you can really spam the... you can just spam Mega Elixirs. Ah, Mega Potion, there you go. So second place, but you'd have to play an entire league, and then you'd have to keep reloading the final fight, like the final bit, just to make sure that you got what you needed. But actually, no, sorry. Once it appears like this, it's already fine. You can just reset data, is what I meant. If it doesn't appear, you could do that. So it's definitely possible, but I'd like to see if I can avoid this one at this point. So I think what I will do, I'll probably start to wrap things up here. It has been kind of our allotted time for this sesh. And I think next session we'll give it like a final go. And if by the end of the next session we still don't have it, then I think definitely we'll say grudgingly that we have to give up on the no-sphere grid for now. But we definitely have a few ideas, but there's still, I think, a fair few things I need to test and have a look at. And I'll probably do a little bit of work off screen and see if I can make it happen. And then we will rejoin in the next one to see if we can get it done. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you had a good time. Sorry, like the last part of it was obviously we couldn't really make progress. We were in full kind of research and experimentation mode, but still a lot of fun. And thank you guys for hanging out and for the tips and ideas as well. I will see you guys on Friday. I'll be in the chat. We are facing Braskus Fine Leon in the Masters mod. It's going to be a pretty epic fight. I start to make a little more progress with that one, and you'll just have to see what happens. So thank you all for joining me once again, and take care. I'll see you next time.